Now to your Commitment 2024 headlines. Governor Ron DeSantis is already meeting with key donors as he is now a Republican nominee for the 2024 presidential race.
We have live team coverage tonight. Our Taylor Hernandez talked with college students who will vote for the first time in the 2024 presidential election. We begin with our co-anchor Todd McDermott, who's in Miami with new details about the DeSantis campaign schedule. Todd?
Tiffany, Felicia, the new presidential candidate's plan right now is to meet with those big dollar donors at the Four Seasons Hotel here in Miami. They began arriving yesterday and last night to add to that very big campaign fund that Ron DeSantis and his donors have already built before this campaign officially launched. Now he'll raise some more money before a major campaign swing that begins next week. In fact, Governor DeSantis plans to meet voters in 3 early primary states: Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina next week. He'll make speeches and hold what his campaign is calling fireside chats in a 4-day swing through 12 cities and towns from May 30th to June 2nd. A campaign kickoff event will be held on Tuesday in the state that may be most critical to his presidential hopes, and that's Iowa and the Iowa caucuses, the first in a series of public events since he joined the 2024 race for the Republican nomination yesterday. While former President Trump leads in all polls by a wide margin, with Ron DeSantis in second place right now, a lot obviously can change, and there is a bigger split between likely young Republican voters in 2024. I want to go back to the studio now, and Taylor Hernandez has a look at that. She talked to some of those voters, and Taylor, some of these young people will be making their first vote ever on a 2024 ballot.
They are, and Todd, this generation of voters in the Republican Party is concerned about social issues, fiscal policy, and perhaps most importantly, electing who they view as a, quote, anti-establishment candidate. Nicole Kelly and Owen Girard will vote in a presidential election for the very first time in 2024. Girard is the incoming president of a conservative activism group at Florida State University.
I want to hear about revolutionary ideas. I want to hear about people who aren't just talking about mainstream talking points, people who aren't just going out there saying, we're going to cut taxes, we're going to, destroy the woke left, just some basic generic statements that don't really mean a whole lot.
To Nicole Kelly, the most important issue on the ballot is abortion. So if the election were today, she would vote for the governor.
Among the two of them, DeSantis is more firmly in support of the pro-life movement. The 6-week abortion ban was good. I don't think it necessarily went far enough.
Girard says he will likely cast a ballot for Trump instead of DeSantis or the former president, though. Kelly and Girard both say they would rather vote for a candidate they see as more, quote, anti-establishment, like Vivek Ramaswamy, but cite his low poll numbers as their reason for sticking to the big names.
I'm not saying that Trump is immune to this, but he has definitely played into the establishment, the party establishment, for most of his career.
Vice President of Miami Young Republicans, Tony Figueroa, says experience is the #1 thing he looks for in a candidate. He plans to vote for Trump because he worries DeSantis's experience as governor did not prepare him to be commander-in-chief.
He's governed in a state where he has a supermajority of Republicans in the legislature. So it's been a lot easier for him to push forward his agenda. If he does become president, he's not going to have a supermajority of anything.
I also spoke with a political expert about Governor DeSantis' upcoming campaign stops. You can read his analysis right now on our website. Todd, back to you.
All right, Taylor Hernandez. Taylor, thank you. And to give you an idea, despite what you've heard about the glitches in that announcement by the governor last night on Twitter Spaces and the delay and the loss of a lot of the audience, it still was effective. Again, he's not only a candidate, but the DeSantis campaign says they raised more than $1 million during the time after he made the announcement. To put that in perspective, Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina making a more traditional announcement in a rally. That campaign says they've raised $2 million and did that in the first 24 hours after his announcement. Again, those numbers from either candidate not verified yet by federal regulators. For now, I'm Todd McDermott live at the Four Seasons Hotel in Miami and Brickell, where the governor is meeting with those big dollar donors before the big campaign swing next week. I'll send it back to Felicia and Tiffany.
Todd, thank you for all your hard work. And make sure to download the WPBF 25 News app. We are committed to bringing you every development as the presidential primary season gears up.